You're watching E.T.N, where we don't do news, we just talk entertainment. Share and subscribe.
Hey guys, welcome to Entertainment Talk Nation. This is Rob. This video, we're going to kind of kill two birds with one stone. We're going to talk a little bit about whether or not we're going to get a second trailer. That is a question that's popping up a lot. And we're also going to talk a little bit about the future of the Monsterverse. That has always been a consistent topic regarding any Monsterverse movie, especially now with Godzilla vs. Kong. A lot of people are very excited. A lot of people want this to continue. But before we get into these two topics, first, I want to encourage you to hit the subscribe button if you haven't subscribed to E.T.N, and also like this video if you enjoy the topic we're discussing. One last thing I also want to do is I want to congratulate Tiffany, who won a Godzilla piggy bank late last week, actually I think the day before the trailer, and I've been meaning to put up this congratulations for a while. And here's a shot of her and her husband Steve. Both have been longtime subscribers to the channel, so I was very happy when Tiffany won during the stream. And definitely encourage you guys to stop by the stream. Sometimes I do random giveaways. This piggy bank is a very, very popular item, and with good reason. I'll kind of give you a shot of it later, especially if you remember I'm doing a little kind of a special video with my son. He's got a great display of his figures, and I kind of wanted to highlight that. So also, we will be having another, I'm still working on the Godzilla How I Would Do It series. This is something that a lot of longtime subscribers love. When we're just about to get a movie in the Monsterverse, I kind of do a How I Would Do It regarding some of my prior theories. So I'm aiming to have that up on Friday for the whole channel and Thursday for members. So definitely looking forward to that. Kind of had to take Wednesday off. This is a lot of madness. So I have a lot of videos that went up today that were already pre-recorded. As you can tell, I'm wearing a gray shirt now, wearing a black shirt in those. So, but anyway, let's get into the topic. So first, let's tackle this trailer thing because, you know, I have my opinions on this. I thought this first trailer was solid. I thought it was really good. In fact, I would be perfectly fine if they didn't release another one, honestly. A lot of people weren't disappointed in the trailer in and of itself. They were kind of disappointed in the fact that Kong looks like he has such an overwhelming, you know, advantage in this fight, because a lot of the highlights in the trailer are based on him and the kind of things he can do. So a lot of people were upset, especially Godzilla fans were very disappointed that we didn't see Godzilla get any of his shots in. And I think, to be honest, in my opinion, I think that's a little unfair. I think it's if you don't think Godzilla's going to get his shots in, I don't know what to tell you. I mean, I don't think we need a second trailer to highlight that. I think the purpose of the trailer was to show Kong in a positive light, not only as the good guy and selling Godzilla as the villain, but also you want to showcase Kong, because we haven't seen Kong since Skull Island. We haven't seen Kong from a narrative standpoint in 40 plus years. So we had to get an idea of how much bigger he's gotten. We had to get an idea of what he's capable of. So I think that was very important going into the movie. And I think that's why if we don't get another trailer, that's fine. I already know what Godzilla's capable of. I already know what he's going to do to him. I'm not concerned. So will we get a second trailer? I think it's possible. If we do, it's definitely going to be between the middle of the month to the 1st of March. So I would say within the last 2 weeks of the month. But honestly, if we didn't get a second one, I'd be perfectly fine with that. I think we might get some commercial spots that might show some quick 20-second scenes that are either cut differently from what we already saw, or just, you know, and in some ways we got that already, right? We got those advertisements a couple of nights before we got the trailer. So I think you're just going to see some of those rerun. I think, you know, the trailer's got 50+ million views now, so people are still checking it out. I really don't think we're going to get much more. If we did, of course, I won't be disappointed. We'll be live here when it drops. We'll break it down and all that good stuff. So now moving on to the future of the Monsterverse. And before I even touch on that, we did get actually more monster news yesterday. Godzilla 2014 is coming in 4K. Thank you. And, and a lot of people have been waiting for that. So now we have Godzilla 2014 coming in 4K, I believe sometime in March, like before the movie drops. So that's good stuff. Now, in terms of the Monsterverse, what people want necessarily is the Monsterverse to continue in theaters. And I know this is a big thing. It's even a big thing for me. While I'm looking forward to the shows and I'm looking forward to potential further narratives regarding Monarch, maybe Apex, the Monsterverse, whether it be an anime or a live action show or comics or books. Ultimately, it's the theater that gets everybody excited. I understand that. I'm still of the belief that after Godzilla vs. Kong, from a theatrical standpoint, the Monsterverse will come to an end. You can view the new show that's been announced on Netflix as some sort of 50% confirmation of that. But again, ultimately, performance determines whether or not a series continues. If the movie does as well as the hype that has been driving it since the release of the trailer, then yes, I think the Monsterverse will continue in theaters. The question is, what kind of story do you do after that, right? And there's many different directions they can go, but ultimately, I believe the best direction for them to go is Destroya. And I say this because I've been a big advocate of going this direction, simply because they have already established the oxygen destroyer. It blew up in the ocean. You could see a crustacean crab perhaps mutating from it, which is what Destroyer was, a crustacean. So that is set up so eloquently. Whether they did that on purpose or not remains to be seen, but I think that's one direction they can go. The downfall of that is you're bringing in a monster that is very well unknown to the general audience. Remember, Kong is very well known. This is why this movie's getting a lot of buzz. Yes, it is the pandemic. I've made that argument before, that this is the first blockbuster of the year after a grave failure by Wonder Woman, but let's not take away Kong's value in terms of the box office. Now you go from that and you go to Godzilla versus Destroyer. Now you're bringing in a monster that is very cool, that looks cool, that is powerful. Nobody knows him outside of the kaiju fan base. Nobody. It doesn't drive that same excitement as a Kong, in my opinion. Narratively, perfect. I think it's a perfect setup. So that's one direction they could go if they wanted to do one final movie. Maybe this is the end of Godzilla. They do the whole meltdown thing, and we get something like what they did in Toho, and then that ends the Monsterverse. It would be a bittersweet ending, but it would be an ending that I think all G fans would welcome within the Monsterverse. The other direction they could go is destroy all monsters. And this would be another good way to keep Kong in the movie. Unless Kong somehow makes it in Godzilla vs. Destroyer, but I'm assuming that would be a 1v1. But let's say they do a Destroy All Monsters, which is probably, from an advertising standpoint, from a selling point, is probably a better direction to go in. That makes more sense narratively too. Every movie we've seen these monsters cause destruction, whether they do it intentionally, whether they do it unintentionally. Humans are suffering. And now maybe we finally get militaries around the world no longer want to listen to Monarch, are either siding with or looking to Apex for weaponry on how to take these Titans down. And now we have the world versus these monsters. And therefore now you can see some of these Titans that we saw from the past kind of really get in there and make their noise. So you have a Destroy All Monsters movie with Godzilla, with Kong, and now these monsters, instead of fighting each other, are banding together for survival. And you get these different locations around the world of monsters destroying military bases or attacking military outlets, but also some monsters being destroyed by militaries, So then you can see Kong, you can see Godzilla, you could see, Behemoth go there and wreck cities, and it doesn't mean you don't get your monster fights. Maybe there is one big threat at the end, a la Destroy All Monsters from the 70s, and instead of Ghidorah, this time it is Mecha King Ghidorah being the biggest threat. The military, along with Apex, decided to use the remains of the head to kind of fashion together a Mecha King Ghidorah. Look, all these are possibilities that they can go in terms of the direction, in terms of the narrative. You have really two final movies that are perfectly set up just based on King of the Monsters alone, let alone whatever we're going to get in this movie. I also think if we get an Easter egg at the end, or if we get some sort of ending, I think if it's a secure Dunzo ending, that's probably the end of the Monsterverse. And I'm talking about Godzilla versus Kong. If it's an open ending, that tells me they're waiting to see how the movie does and how it's received. Now, if it's a more obvious ending that something else is coming, then I think the Monsterverse continues. So I think you'll get your answer once we see the movie, you know, and you might even get the answer shortly thereafter. If the movie does really well, they might announce it right away. They might. They did that with Godzilla 2014. I think within 4 or 5 days of the movie's release, with such a phenomenal box office, they announced right away that they were going to make more. And then months later at Comic-Con, we found out they were bringing in Ghidorah, Mothra, and Rodan. So, you know, there's possibilities there from a narrative standpoint. They have elements set up for multiple stories. The buzz is there right now. The excitement is there right now. And I do think people are going to respond to this movie. The key is the movie has to be good. A lot of people ran to see Wonder Woman when it first dropped. And after they saw how bad it was, they never returned. And word of mouth still has power. So if the movie's good, if it has a good word of mouth and people enjoy it, then Warner Brothers can kind of, and Legendary kind of say, okay, we did well here. This is what we did right. Let's repeat this and do one more. Let's close it out strong. That's a very optimistic view. I'm hoping for that. You know, as many times as I said, I think this is the last one, and I still believe that. I am praying to be wrong. In fact, I'm kind of saying it so that the opposite happens, you know? So, but we'll see. You know, we'll see what happens. But anyway, we'll have more content coming. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. And let me know in the comments what you think. What would you hope for a finale for the Monsterverse if we get one more movie after Godzilla vs. Kong? Do you want a Destroyer versus Godzilla type of send-off where Godzilla does the whole meltdown and that's it? Do you want to destroy all monsters? Everybody gets their moment in the movie, kind of like an Avengers type thing for the Monsterverse. And then there's this one big bad at the end, like a Mecha King Ghidorah, or maybe a newer threat, something actually developed by Legendary, a new, bigger monster. Remember back in the day, I had that whole theory about the, you know, the huge serpent. I think even High Flyer Tag Team mentioned something about a world serpent. So wild theories, of course, that's what I'm known for, crazy theories. But we'll see what happens. Anyway, guys, that's it for this video. This is Rob signing off for E.T.N, where we don't do news, we just talk entertainment. Take it easy.
Thank you for watching E.T.N. Click here to watch more content. Don't forget to leave a comment. Also, make sure you like and share this video. If you want to know when the next video is up, click the notification bell next to the subscribe button. And most of all, make sure to click that subscribe button for regular content.